Hello fellow truckers and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. As you can see, we are in the middle of a load heading from Twin Falls, Idaho to Sandpoint, Idaho. We have a cargo of 3 trailers of fireworks that we're going to be taking up there. We stopped halfway through our trip. In the last episode because there just wasn't enough time to get all of it done in the about a half hour of video that I generally try to do for my channel here. So let's go ahead and get back on the road. Unfortunately, it is nighttime, and I think that yeah, I mean, at least it's I think we're getting to the point where it's going to start getting into the daytime, which means we'll actually start being able to see what's going on. But yeah, we're about we're a little less than halfway through our trip. So let's go ahead and get on the road here and hopefully start making some distance. We ended up spending a lot of extra time at our starting location because there were just a lot of places that we had to stop. We had to wait on a bunch of lights and things like that. I've gone back and forth on this series over the little bit of time that over the few times that I've done it. I took a break and we finally came back. And on some videos, I did some like time-lapsey kind of things where we kind of, once we got out of town, I went into a time-lapse on this long driving part. But I don't know. I don't know that's necessarily going to be a good fit for something like this, because then it turns it into a video that's like every other video out there, or like it takes away a lot of the personalization out of it. So I don't know that I'm going to do that. I think we might just, you know, I generally do Let's Play videos pretty much for the most part. And I'm kind of hoping that'll eventually make a comeback as people decide they want a more personal experience, but we'll see how that actually plays out. Before we get too far in the video, I'd like to ask you to help us to reach the next major channel milestone of 10,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button right now. The number does not go up unless you actually press a button, so be sure to do that before you head out. Also, hit the like button to help the video spread out to more people so that they have a chance to subscribe as well. Helps out with growth and all that cool stuff. And then when you're done watching this video, we do have more than 1,600 other videos on the channel. I play all different kinds of games, and everything is organized into nice, neat little playlists to make it easy to find whatever it is that you're looking for. So be sure to go check out the channel after that. We got about 300 miles left on this trip. We're in the depths of Oregon, basically, out on the highways. It seems like the speed limit here is relatively reasonable, so we'll try. I think 65 was a little fast for that turn. I don't know. I don't recall seeing a warning sign saying to slow down there, but yeah, they want us to do 35 here. I am playing on a controller, so if you hear a bunch of whooshing sound from the air brakes, it's because I'm using that, and I kind of have to tap the brakes to get the kind of braking that I want out of this, because the short throw of these thumbsticks makes it a very hard thing to deal with. I do have some rudder pedals that I could be using, but to be perfectly honest with you, for extended periods of time, having to sit in this chair in one position is not very comfortable. If I can shift around and kind of move my body, I'm okay, but you know, it's not like a car where it has a reasonably comfortable. Well, a lot of it is just the fact that it's a very old chair. I've had it for I don't want to say I mean, it's relatively old. I've had it for a bunch of years now at this point. And it's just kind of worn out, so it's not super comfortable to sit on in one position for a long period of time. I also live in a travel trailer, so I don't have a lot of room for something like an actual sim pit. We almost run into the thing there. So I'm kind of limited in what I can have and how I can have things set up. So I typically just use the controller because it's the most comfortable option for me. And it's good enough that I'm able to control things in a pretty reasonable way. So unfortunately, we're not able to maintain maximum speed here because the road is a little curvier than our truck can safely handle at around 65 miles an hour. More or less just kind of stuck at around 55-ish. Hopefully, this will kind of open up a little bit and make it to where we can get the speed up a little bit. We're kind of getting up there now, but I mean, like, this turn here wants us to slow down to 40 miles an hour. And then we have this truck in front of us who's going to be really slowing us down. Yep. Now we're down to 25. So we gotta wait on this guy to get his speed back up, and then, ugh. So, yeah, I'm not really sure I've gone back and forth between different formats for this series because obviously driving around like this is like just the driving part of it is going to be too boring to watch for any extended period of time. So I try to like talk about things as we go. But the problem is that I also have an Elite Dangerous series that I do where I end up having to talk about things as I go. And by the time I get to this one, I don't really have much to say by the time I get to this, especially on days like today where I'm having to record multiple episodes to cover my weekend. You'll note yesterday, if you watched my video yesterday, we should have actually recorded this video yesterday, and then I should have 2 more that I'm doing today, but my voice was kind of hurting, and I didn't really have much to talk about, so I was just like, we'll just do the 1 episode, and I'll take the hit for not having 2 episodes in a day, but I don't know. I think a lot of it would be if we can just come up with some topics to talk about. And I would like to talk about things that you guys are interested in. Obviously, we're going to stay away from politics and religion and the hot button issues that anger people because that's just, it's not fun, and I'm not interested in putting out the kind of content that divides people. We have enough division in the world today. We don't need to take it into our video games. So I would like to talk about stuff, but I would like to talk about things that are interesting to talk about and, you know, stuff like that. So I guess like for this video, I don't remember if I talked about it in my last video, but I did start a separate channel which is going to be focused on my RV and hopefully my future travels that I want to get done. For those of you who don't know, and maybe I haven't mentioned it in the past, I just honestly don't remember, so I'm just going to talk about it now. I do live in a travel trailer, and I have been living in a travel trailer for a while. I originally bought this travel trailer brand new back in, I think, late 2018, and moved into it full time in a semi-permanent RV/trailer park kind of thing where it wasn't really set up for us to be able to come and go as we pleased. So I didn't need a truck at the time. So I had a friend who picked the RV up for me, took it to the spot where I was going to be, dropped it off, we got it all hooked up and set up and everything, and then I just stayed there for a couple of years. Like, it didn't go anywhere. And then we got to the point where I was going to move out of California and go somewhere else. So I finally got a truck at that point. But circumstances made it I made decisions that made it so I needed to stay here in California. So as much as I really don't necessarily want to stay here because of the cost of living and a bunch of other things that just make living here a little bit not what I want it to be, I'm not able to leave because of personal reasons that I'm not going to talk about on the internet. But regardless, I've been living in the trailer off and on. I moved out of it when I married my wife, and I kind of moved in with her, and then we ended up moving down to Mexico for a year. But then we came back and we're like, you know what, let's just live in the RV because, you know, our kids are old enough that they can do their own thing now, and, you know, we have plans for the future for what we want to do. So let's move back into the RV. Let's start trying to figure out getting that set up to get on the road and hopefully start doing that. So, you know, I have this gaming channel that I'm doing, and I also, you know, a few months ago I set up a channel that I intended to use for like RV related stuff and the travel, and I just didn't do anything with it. I just had it there as kind of like a placeholder. But I finally got off my butt and started doing some videos for that. So I think I have 10 or 11, or I think the last time I looked at the video count, there's like 13 videos on there. For that channel, I'm scheduling them to come out once a week because, you know, trying to do daily videos on this channel and then have another channel where I'm doing daily videos that's just going to be too much. It's going to be too much to try to maintain, especially if that channel ends up actually doing anything and, you know, starts becoming something that people actually watch. You know, I want to make that more of something I sit down and actually plan out and prepare for, and, you know, maybe do, as much as I hate doing video editing, if I'm going to make that channel actually do anything meaningful, I'm going to have to do some significant video editing for that channel. So that channel, if it becomes a thing, and I'm not assuming that it will, but if it becomes a thing, it's going to require me to actually put a lot more time and effort per video on that than I do for this channel, because for this channel, I just want it to be a Let's Play channel. I don't want it to be this heavily produced, inauthentic, you know, give you the highlights of everything. I want the kind of audience where it's the kind of person that just wants to sit down and hang out for 20, 30 minutes and just enjoy a video, and, you know, hopefully they enjoy my personality enough that they hang out. I hate video editing, but that's not primarily the reason I don't do it. It's mostly because I just want to play a game. I don't want to play the game and then end up having 90% of that go away because I have to cut it out because it's boring. Like, that's not really the kind of audience I want anyways. If, like, I'm not looking for short-term attention span people. I want people, I want an audience that is going to, you know, who is looking for something where they sit down and watch for a while. And most of the content on YouTube just isn't like that anymore. So I'm hoping to fill that particular niche, and hopefully I can find enough people who are interested. It looks like we have a way station coming up, so there is a decent chance. There is a decent chance that we're going to end up having to stop for that. And unfortunately, the way station is on the other side. I could bypass the nearby way station. Excellent. Okay, that's good. So, and it looks like we're going to be... I'm hoping that this is going to be a relatively fast highway for a while, because it would be nice if we could get some distance down at a higher speed, higher average speed anyway, than what we've been doing so far. How many miles do we have to empty? 400? Yeah, we're good. I see the gas station there, and I'm like, and I see that we have less than half a tank at this point, and I'm like, I wonder if we should stop. But no, if we have 400 miles left and we only have 177 miles to get where we're going, I'm not going to waste the time stopping to go do that. Looks like we've stopped there before, though, so it's good that it's explored already. Try to get around this curve here. But anyways, yeah, it would be really cool if I could, you know, get Gunthrek Travels to be something that, you know, is another aspect of video creation that I can do that people want to watch. I feel like I'm a fairly decent presenter. I've had a lot of experience with it, so I should be at this point. So I think I could probably put something out that's interesting to watch. And, you know, I'm not going to, you know, like, get super crazy with any of the editing on that channel, mostly because I just don't like doing it. But ideally, I'll have it set up. Like, the format I kind of want to do is sort of like the old style videos of when people would present locations and things like that, where you would pick a spot, you would do a monologue about the area, about what it is that you're talking about, you know, talking about maybe the history of it and all of that stuff. And I would record all of that, ideally in a single take, because I like doing single takes wherever possible, because I don't want to have to go back and splice things together. So, you know, I'll write out a list of things I want to talk about. I'll speak extemporaneously, so I don't have to worry about the script being an issue. And then, so I'll record that at a specific location. Then we'll run around and go grab as much B-roll as we think that we need to, so that when I'm talking about a specific location, I can just pop a little bit of video over what I'm doing, over what I'm talking about. And then, you know, make it super easy and simple. I don't really want to do, even in that channel, I don't really want to make it super heavily produced to the point where it seems like I'm trying to be like this super professional product. It's not what I want to put out there. It's not what I want to be. It's not what I want any of my channels to be, regardless of how many of them I end up making. But I would like to make something that's fun to watch, or interesting to watch, or whatever. And, you know, make it something that's another, hopefully, stream of income, because obviously the goal of doing all of this stuff isn't just to, you know, share my video games or share my experiences on the internet. It's to hopefully create something that funds those things. So it makes it so that I can afford to travel. It makes it so I can afford to maybe do some upgrades for my computer, so I can make better video, so I can play better video games at higher qualities. Like, I want to get back into DCS World, but I would prefer to do it in VR. Like, I really want to get back into that and do it in VR, because that's just a way more fun way of playing that game. But I need a much better graphics card than I have, and graphics cards are expensive, and I don't make enough money to be able to do that. So I need to get my channel to the point to where, first and foremost, it covers my bills. Obviously, that's the priority. And then I need to have enough extra after that to be able to afford computer upgrades for things like wanting to, you know, play in VR. So there's a process that has to happen, and, you know, focusing solely on just, oh, I want to have a YouTube channel. That's great. That's noble and everything, but realistically, these things need to make enough cash to make it worth the time I'm putting into it. Otherwise, I got to go find something else to do, because if I'm not making any money at this, then I need to be spending my. You need to be efficient with your time. You need to be making sure you're spending your time in a way that is advancing your goals. And yeah, so like, I don't want to come across as a YouTuber who's all about the money. That is a big part of why I do this, but I also do genuinely enjoy playing video games, and it's kind of fun to share this stuff with you guys. So, you know, they say don't talk about money, but you know what? I'm me, and I'm going to be me, and I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And one of the things is I want to be honest about my intentions with this channel, and part of it is that I'm hoping it's going to be something that's going to become my career, at least for a while. I don't know how long a YouTube career could last for me, especially with gaming channels and stuff like that. But if I could get the travel channel off the ground and make it interesting enough that people want to watch it, that's something I could do for many years, as long as I have new places to go all the time. So it'd be kind of cool. We'll see. I don't know. We're down to about 108 miles at this point, so that's good. Speed limit here is 60 though, and that's bad. It seemed like the truck was struggling to slow us down to 60 miles an hour though. I have to turn the cruise control off because the people here are deciding to drive 20 miles an hour under the speed limit. You guys can feel free to pick up the pace. See that white sign over there? It says 60, not 40. Now we have to like struggle bus our way up the hill here. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. I mean, we are carrying 3 trailers behind us, so that's a fair bit of weight. I picked this one because I wanted to have something that made a decent amount of money, because the goal of this, the series basically at this point is just to buy one of every type of truck, get it into our fleet, and have it start making money. And then, you know, I kind of stopped making videos for this in the middle of all of that. And the only reason I kind of came back was because Star Trekker came out, and I wanted to try that out. And the way that game was implemented and some of the features that were missing out of that game made it to where I didn't want to play it anymore. It was a little bit more annoying to play than what I got out of it. And then I was like, well, you know what? We haven't done either of the trucking simulators in a while, so let's pop American Truck Simulator back in there and start making some videos. And then it just so happened that the day I decided to do that, they released this most recent major improvement update. So it's kind of weird it's kind of fortuitous that it happened that way. I think it would be fun if I had, at one point I had a racing wheel and pedals and all of that stuff, and I did play this game with the manual shifting and all of that, and that was kind of fun. But I think it would be kind of cool if I was able to do a full-on simulator setup for this. I just don't know how I would make that work in my travel trailer, because there's not a lot of room. So I'd have to figure out a way to do some kind of like a modular setup that allows me to pull things out and put things in, and because I'd like to have a flight sim pit, and I'd like to have a driving sim pit, and all of that kind of stuff. Especially, you know, because if I can get my graphics card updated to the point where I can do DCS in VR, I should be able to do this in VR too, and then we could have like a nice, like, being able to look around kind of thing. But I don't know. Part of me wonders if that's a good idea for a driving sim like this, because you know, a lot of people get motion sickness, and watching me looking around all the time would probably make some people motion sick. So I don't know, that might not actually be a good idea to do it in VR. I think I've actually mentioned this before, but I think it would be really cool if they implemented the ability to, I don't know how it would work, but implement the ability to somehow make it so that you could have a second point of view from the passenger seat there. And then for videos like this, I could be driving from this point of view, looking around and doing whatever I want. And then you guys could be sitting over there. And unfortunately, that would probably only be a looking forward view unless they had a button that, that would be I know that would be overly complicated, but if somebody could figure out how to make that work, I think that would be kind of cool, because then you could have a true passenger perspective, right? You could have a true passenger perspective instead of just seeing it from the driver's perspective. But again, I don't really know how you would make that work effectively. And the problem with that is I mean, I guess, let me think about that for a second. Because the issue with VR is that it has to render the scene twice from two different perspectives. So I guess, you know, if you have the ability to run it in VR at a decent rate, rendering it twice for two different things probably wouldn't be that big of an issue either. And so there would just need to be an easy way to control the viewer's perspective on the fly to make it so that when I'm looking at something and then I realize, ooh, I want to show you guys this, there's a button I can press that will get your perspective looking in a way that makes it to where that works. So I guess that would kind of work, like a snap view kind of thing, where it's like, if I'm looking around, like let's say I'm looking around in VR and then I see something that I want you guys to see, I press the button and it takes you from looking straight forward like this to snapping over to whatever it is I'm looking at like that. That would be kind of cool. I think that would be kind of an interesting thing to add to the game to make it a little bit more a little bit more fun. That would be kind of cool. I think that would be kind of cool. Don't know how you would make that work, but I think the concept is interesting. Because they could do that for both of these games, and it would make it to where, you know, content creators could do we could be doing the driving thing, and then you're sitting over here in the passenger, you as the viewer are sitting over here in the passenger seat, and it makes it feel even more like, it makes it feel even more immersive from your perspective, because now you're not just some bodiless driver who's magically controlling the truck, you're sitting over in the passenger seat while I drive the truck. I don't know. I imagine that's probably not worth the effort it would take to try to figure that out. I just thought it was a cool idea. But yeah, we are now 50 miles away, which means that we have about an hour of in-game time, which should be only a couple more minutes, realistically, especially once we get out of this town here and the distance starts shrinking very rapidly. I mean, ideally, from an in-game perspective, we're right around the corner from it. Get our load over there, drop it off, and be done for the day. I'm not sure I made the best decision by not fueling up. And of course, I didn't think about it until after we left, but I didn't really want to deal with having to fuel up with all these trailers behind me. That can be it's not so much that it's difficult. Like, none of this stuff is all that difficult. It's just kind of finicky and annoying, and I don't really want to deal with it if I don't have to. So, but it was probably a bad decision, because now we have another 40 miles, which is going to put us down under 200 miles, and I don't know where the nearest gas station is going to be, so I'm sure we'll be fine. It's that you start to get into that, oh, maybe I made a bad decision mindset when you start getting close. When you start getting down towards like the less than a quarter of a tank, you start being like, did I make a good decision here? I don't know. I don't know if I made a good decision here. I feel like I might have made a bad one. But with any luck, there'll be a gas station near where we're dropping this stuff off, and then we'll be able to fill up on that. So I'll do all that off camera, ideally, because I like to start my episode from the view that you saw when we started this, and end my episodes more or less from this. I mean, I guess I usually end them in the cockpit. I should probably try to start ending them with an exterior view of the truck to kind of bookend the videos that way. Okay, we're really close to our destination here. They want us to exit. Looks like we haven't been to this area before. There is a viewpoint over here, and if it's on the side of the road where we can stop, we might do that. Yep, it sure is. So let's pull in here real quick. We'll enjoy a... This is not a gas station, by the way. I know it looks like one, but it's actually not. We'll enjoy a little panoramic view since it's here, and might as well. There's not too many like visually interesting things to see when you're just driving down the road, so stopping off at one of these viewpoints to get a nice handcrafted view of the area is not necessarily a bad thing. It's interesting that they have this marina here with all these power boats. Must be a lake nearby. I'm a big fan of boating. Sailboats. I really like sailboats. Power boats are cool, but sailboats are my thing. I really love sailing. City Beach. All right. I don't want to spend too much time on that, so we'll go ahead and hop out of here. I know that some of you are probably like, why don't you use your turn signals? And it's specifically because of that, because since I don't really have a decent head tracking solution, I use the in-game controls, and the looking to the left makes it so that I can't really see. I can't really see in the mirrors very well. And because I use the turn signals for looking, a lot of times I just don't mess with the turn signals because of that. Because I don't want to look. So most of the time I'll flip on a turn signal when I want to look into my mirror. Let's make sure there's nobody coming over here. Then we'll go drop off our load. Gotta pay attention a little bit here because the streets are a little bit narrow for this truck. Take it a little wide to make sure we don't hit anybody that might be making the turn there. And yeah, having the having some kind of head tracking solution would make it so I could actually look out the mirrors. Realistically, I should just suck it up and have the UI mirrors on, but I feel like that kills immersion. So I end up making dubious driving decisions because I'm not looking at the mirror, and yeah, I'm not looking at the mirror when I do things a lot of the time. So I'm just kind of trusting the faith that it's actually going to work out the way I want it to. I shouldn't do that. All right, we're going to run this light if it changes. This is our destination here. This is basically Wally World. I did have a mod that changed them all to the real names, but I uninstalled all of the mods after this new update came out because A, I didn't want to have to fight any incompatibilities that were a problem, and B, I kind of wanted to see what the new visual updates were. I haven't really noticed anything yet, though, so I don't know. We may go back to putting some mods back in there. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and call this an episode. Hopefully you guys had fun. Be sure to click the like button if you did to spread the video out to more people. Subscribe to the channel to help us reach that magic 10,000 subscriber mark. Join the channel as a member if you like early access to videos, among other things. Or you can just click YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. Again, thank you very much for watching this particular episode of American Truck Simulator. Be sure to come back for the next one, and I'll see you then.